I'd like to call the City of Apache Junction Council meeting for January 21st, 2025 to order and ask everyone to put their cell phones on silent. The invocation will be led by Councilmember Brian Solar and the Pledge of Allegiance by Peter Heck.
We thank you for the privilege and freedom we have of being able to gather together this evening to discuss city business. We ask that you give the staff and council wisdom and clarity in their decision-making. Keep us mindful that we serve the residents of this city. We ask you to watch over the men and women who serve in our military the world over. Keep them safe in these troubling and turbulent times. We ask also for your blessing on our first responders, including our police and fire department, along with EMS personnel. Please keep these brave men and women safe in their duties and protect and care for the residents of this city. We ask for you to give peace and comfort to the families who experienced so much devastation during the wildfires in California. Thank you for the honor and privilege we have to serve the residents of this great city. Keep us mindful of the reasons for this season. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
No. Just be thankful.
Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Present.
Councilmember Cross,
Here.
Councilmember Heck,
Here.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yeah, present.
Councilmember Solar.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Consent agenda. As a reminder, all items under the consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to remove an item for further discussion, request must be made prior to approving the consent agenda, and it will be moved to new business. Do I have a motion for consent agenda?
Your Honor,
Yes.
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Solar,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
Regional intergovernment updates. Anyone? Yes.
Your Honor, I do. Last week, I attended a meeting at GPEC, which featured the mayors of 4 cities within the Phoenix metropolitan area. The mayors of Chandler, Queen Creek, El Mirage, and Goodyear participated in a roundtable discussion, addressing questions with responses as they related to their particular city. I was most interested to learn that many of the key priorities and challenges are similar to those that we face here in Apache Junction. For example, key priorities. Each city indicated that economic development was crucial. 2 of the 4 cities indicated that enhancing their downtown was an important element in their vision. The 2 smaller cities, El Mirage and Goodyear, both expressed the challenge of the need for a growing population, but still maintaining the small town qualities. Each city has a general plan, and each mayor admonished cities to stand by that vision. Lastly, the one key challenge was dealing with the homeless population. So it was really encouraging to learn that Apache Junction is very similar to other cities within the metropolitan area. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Are you talking about Gulfstream?
Do what?
Are you going to be talking about Gulfstream?
Go ahead.
I didn't want to take his thunder. I don't have the pictures. I'm sure they do, though. A good share of your council a couple weeks ago went to a ribbon cutting for the new Gulfstream repair facility over at Mesa Gateway Airport. And I tell you what, that is one massive building, and just awesome to go in there and see the work that they can do in servicing a Gulfstream jet. Obviously, it's a great asset to have here in our community, and they are hiring. So if you have a young child that's getting ready to graduate from high school, there's entry-level positions where they can go in and start an apprenticeship and learn how to work on aircrafts without a college degree. And there's also, obviously, higher education type positions that they're looking to fill as well. So keep that in mind.
Mayor?
Yes,
I'll cover the Central Arizona call for you.
okay.
Most of the council went to the grand opening of the new Central Arizona. Oh, look at that good-looking man.
Thanks, Brian.
The one with the hat.
No, but we went there, and it was the grand opening. It's been a long time in coming, and they're teaching nursing, pottery, electricians, and the exciting thing is they're teaching trades, and that's a big thing. You know, our country is struggling with not having enough people that work in the trades. So it was a very, very nice grand opening, and hopefully we'll get a lot of students there that can get really good paying jobs.
Anyone else? No. Okay. Well, you covered two of them in the aspect on it fairly well. In the Gulfstream, I definitely, encourage, people to look at them for, I'll say future jobs, because they are in the process of hiring over 200 people right now, and look like eventually they're going to have over 300 more people there, and they're expanding even more. The Central College, they also include welding in this aspect on it, and so they're doing all the trades. And what's neat about it is they have, the kids are going to be stringing the wire in the buildings and in the aspects on it. Well, they got them all set up as for all they got to do is actually run the wires in to activate what they need to do. And then when it's all over with, they remove the wires for the next class. So everything's already there. So it's not like they're building a new building. It's just they have a simulation of a building that they need to wire. So that was very unique. I also attended the MLK Awards celebration breakfast. And they had, of course, several awards and scholarships that were presented and talked about what is happening in Arizona. They ran a video of Mr. King's famous speech, "I Had a Dream," and fortunately or unfortunately, it brought back a lot of memories for me of that period of time in my young life, and involved in the aspects of what was going on in that time frame. And just a short story, living in Ohio, it was a requirement that the blacks had to take a written test to make sure they understood English and comprehended it. And no one else did, just the blacks had to do it. And of course, the demonstration was that they, this was very wrong in the aspect on it. And of course, my dad got a hold of one of the tests, and I had to take it. And it was easy, but you had to follow directions, and that was one of the things that was on there, was directions on what to do. So it wouldn't have been bad if everybody had to do it, I think, in the aspects on it, which would have been a lot better. And on this past Saturday, I sat on the judges board for our Lost Dutchman Rodeo Queens. Had great interviews and presentations from the girls from all ages, and we now have a new royalty that will be leading the rodeo this next month. Well, that's all I have for now. So on to city manager's report. Sorry, almost skipped you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bryant Powell, City Manager. Just to add on CAC, we are so grateful that we have this investment. It could have gone in different areas of the county. We're grateful for the taxpayer, the ability for us to have this investment into our youth to help build demand occupations that are needed now, the trades, the plumbing, the HVAC, all those electrical, all those things that are needed to build this community. The other thing that's coming that wasn't as highlighted in this last presentation or this open house is that the training center for all the jobs that are going to go to LG are also there on our Superstition Mountain campus. So we're really excited about an $88 million investment that we're seeing now come into our city. Matt, if you could go to the next slide. I want to thank the mayor and city council. I have two videos. Maybe don't hit it just yet. I want to explain and set this up. The vehicle in the back, this is a City of Apache Junction training session. We appreciate the mayor and city council's investment in public safety for our residents, but also for our officers. We have a new tool, the grappler, that was being used and trained. I had a chance to go see our officers get trained in it. And so there'll be a video of us kind of tracking, or not tracking, chief, following, practicing how we might, use this tool. And then the second video actually shows us actually implementing it. So Matt, hit the first video. It's a real trick. I watched them practice a lot just to be right. So they're right there. They hit the button. I guess it's a button, but they shoot it out. And then the next video shows how it comes to a stop. We're grateful that you continue to invest in our officers and our training and to help keep our residents safe as well. So an opportunity to also share with you tonight is the upcoming State of the City. We have a lot of events coming, but this next one is February 12th. And my biggest concern is helping people know after 6, 7, 8 years of doing it, we're changing location. The new location is at Desert View Event Center, 5:30 for networking and light refreshments, 6 o'clock presentation. It's on South Star Road, and it's in between Tomahawk and Goldfield. Maybe the best way to describe it is if you get off the Goldfield exit and start to go on Old West Highway Northwest, on Old West Highway back into town. When you get to Star, go north or turn right, and then there's an entrance there. We'll need to put up good signs because it'll be way different than just going down to the high school. So for those that are coming, please be aware that it's changing, and that's my biggest worry with the change. Is it not only one is it's a change, right? What we're used to doing, but it's also it's interesting area, but it's beautiful, and we're looking forward to inviting everybody, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody out at the 2025 State of the City. Also, before I turn it over to Eli and current events, we just had in our water board meeting recorded on video the presentation Michael Hawkins did for water, as well as the fire district's question and answers and the Arizona water. We'll keep that handy so that we can share with others, and you can share too that video link if you need it. We can get that out to let people know about the questions that people are having in our community, rightfully so, about water protection, wildland fire protection, and also the fire district's efforts in coordination with our water companies, water utilities to help prevent and also help do our best to reduce risk with fire out there. So we'll have that available, and we'll turn it over to Eli with current events.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. We have 2 events to highlight tonight. Similar to the State of the City, these are about a month away, so kind of the theme of sharing these tonight is just to save the date and keep these in mind. So the first of our 2 major events in February is the Lost Dutchman Marathon. There is, I believe, 5 total races. So we have the marathon, the half marathon, 10K, 8K trail run, and the 2-mile fun run. The marathon is full, which is great news. Yeah, I think we've
Once
been...
again, it's full. I wanted to get into it last year, and it was full. Now this year.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we bought that.
Yeah. I will try to tell you a month in advance.
We know some people if you really
2 months.
Yeah, we can get you in there.
Just say the word. Sign Brian up if you don't mind.
I'll do my best. We'll follow up next week, or 2 weeks from now. Yeah, the next one to talk about, Lost Dutchman Days. A little later in February, a few weeks after the marathon. Huge event for us. The dates for that, Lost Dutchman Days, there's multiple events that happen. I think even already this month they've started with a few things, but the major dates are February 28th, 29th and March 1st.
What year is
No,
that?
That's not right.
Whoa,
It's only a week.
2020.
Yeah,
You're missing 5 years.
I've got the wrong flyer
That's
up there.
2020.
I apologize for that. So I believe the dates are
23rd, 4th,
Here, wait a minute, I
21st,
got 'em on
22nd,
my-
21st?
23rd,
20
4th, and 6th.
21st, 22nd, 23rd.
Correct.
Sorry about that. Wrong flyer. I threw up on last
It's
minute.
okay.
But
PR director, you know.
I have a couple things to fix.
21, 22, and 23.
But the 22nd is the parade, Lost Dutchman Days Parade. That starts at 9 a.m. And then, again, another thing, the rodeo itself sells out, I believe, every year. So want to put that on people's radar early, give them a chance to get their tickets for the rodeo. And then 2 weeks from now, I'll be back with the correct flyer, and we'll talk through some of the more details about those events as they come up. But that's it for this week.
I have a question. Last year, there was some controversy over people having to come here to get their tickets for the rodeo.
No, they have to go to.
Come here.
They had to go,
No, they go to a chamber.
but they had to come here to get them. That
Oh,
they,
I
they
think
could
they
not buy
do it
them
online.
online
They
last
couldn't do it
year.
online.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that was a big problem, because a lot of people may be coming from outside of the area, but force them to drive here to get their tickets from the chamber before they could go there was a problem. So a lot of people weren't able to go, or they figured, okay, I can get them there, but they were sold out.
That's,
What are we doing on how those ticket sales are gonna be done this year? For the same way, because a big thing for us is, yes, it's in our backyard and a lot of us are gonna go, but tourism says that people from outside of the area are gonna go, and if they can't buy their tickets online, which on your old flyer, they could. But last year,
Would
they
you-
couldn't, and that
Peter,
was
would you
an
like to
issue.
work with me on getting that information to the chamber? And, because they're the ones that,
Yeah, I can tell you, the year we did it last year, we did online. It was a nightmare because we weren't able to calculate or determine how many tickets were sold online, how many were sold at the chamber. So we wound up selling like 800 tickets more than we had seats for.
I know there was a major
So
problem
it
up there
was
last
a
year.
night- So that's why this year, or no, I'm sorry, maybe it was 2 years ago. Last year, we did it without the online, because I realized it'd be ideal, but right now, we don't.
we don't do them. I just want to clarify for the public and for everyone out there, this is not
It's not a city.
it's not we
No, I
host
know
the
it's
facility,
the-
yeah.
I know
But
it's the
just-
chamber, but I know
Yeah.
that was a major
Well, I'm not-
complaint. that
is it the
people
chamber-
drove
the
here to get
Superstition
them.
SMPC's, Superstition Mountain Promotional Corporation sets up this whole process, and they set up the tickets, and they have 3,000 tickets per day, and as Darrell said, you have to now choose a day where in the past, you could buy a ticket and you could go any day you wanted, which turned out to be, again, even more of a problem for us, so, but I think right now, they felt that the online selling was, that we didn't have the methodology to be able to really track that, so maybe it's something we could look at, and I can certainly, we can look at the future for that.
Certainly, Your Honor, before we end, we can keep the communication going. This is a partnership, right? So it's our facility. The nonprofit continues to do the rodeo. And I think they work with the chamber on sales of ticket and all that. So we'll keep working on how to improve and make it better and more efficient, safe.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Public hearings, presentation, discussion, public hearing, consideration of ordinance number 1561. Matt?
Yes, Mayor and City Council members. On early November, council meeting, City Council gave us direction to staff to bring forward 2 new ordinances to continue both sales tax of the 0.2%, one for roadway maintenance and one for the public safety personnel retirement system. We did the required 60-day fee notice as required by state law. And we also, at your last meeting, brought forward draft ordinances. Tonight is the public hearing for those ordinances, and after the public hearing, consideration of those ordinances.
Can we combine these two?
I don't recommend that. I suggest you do public hearing for each one,
Okay.
since they are continuation of taxes.
Okay.
Unless there's any specific questions before that, staff's ready to review anything with you that you'd like us to go over, or we can go straight into the public hearings, whatever the council wishes.
Okay. I will now open the public hearing. There's a 5-minute time limit with a 1-minute waiting warning that you will hear. Please state your name and address for the record. Wow, I see no one coming forward. I will now close and ask for a motion, but before I ask a motion, I'm going to ask for any discussion among council.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I just want to make one comment that, so that the public understands, is that these are not new taxes. These are just continuation of taxes that we've been paying for how long?
You wanna
10
answer
years.
it, Maggie?
Yeah, the last 10 years.
10 years?
Uh-huh.
That,
Actually, longer than that, because those were also
Yeah.
continuations. So, Bryant, 20
Well,
years?
Yeah, it would, there was a time when it was 2.2, and then there was another time the council enacted a net new one to 2.4. And I don't know exactly when those were, but we're looking at like 20 years on one and like 10 years on the other.
But
That
still-
makes sense.
these aren't new taxes. They're not going to be added on to what we're already paying to, that our sales tax won't go up anymore. It's just going to continue on so we can have this money that we need to operate the city on. So that's all I wanted to say.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1561 be read by title only and the reading of the entire ordinance be waived.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
unanimous. Ordinance number 1561, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Apache Junction, Arizona, relating to the transaction privilege license tax, commonly known as the sales tax, amending the tax code of the city of Apache Junction by continuing the rate of taxation by 0.2%, as originally adopted by ordinance number 1406, designating the purpose for maintenance, repair, design, construction, and replacement of public right-of-ways, designating an effective date, designating a termination date, commonly known as the sunset clause, providing for existing contracts, providing for penalties, repealing any conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for notice.
Now I have a motion for this specific, or is there any comment from the council? No comment. Can I have a motion for
Your Honor,
this? Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1561, as read by the city clerk, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
unanimous, Your Honor.
Thank you. Before we continue on, I'm going to throw out some information in the aspect on this. And I had requested this from our city staff. One of the things that we have been faced with over the I'll say past year has been our state legislators have decreased our ability to basically fund ourselves in the city. And we lost what we call the rental tax this past year, which drastically hit us. And I know when this one was passed 10 years ago, we talked about having this, going to a sunset. Well, losing the $1.5 million rental tax was definitely hitting us very hard. And this was set up to, help take care of the roads in our community. And I know one of the things that people saw was a major improvement of some of the roads to include the trail and resurfacing it. And it's something that we need to continue on doing so that we still have funds from the general fund to be able to keep us functioning. Our costs from 10 years ago, almost said 1990, excuse me. Our costs from that period of time when we implemented it to now is dramatic. And I had asked Matt, you want to answer the question as far as what the increase was when we cost originally, we redo the Apache Trail, the distance on it, and what it would cost us today, just so that the general public knows what the impact is for the city is seeing and absorbing.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and council members, when we redid the Apache Trail back in 2015, the Public Works told me the cost was about $2.2 million, and that was a hot-in-place treatment where they milled it down and automatically put down the new payment over it. If we were to do that same treatment today, it would cost between $3.5 and $4 million.
So that's what we're being faced with, and we've kept the tax still basically being the same. We didn't go for an increase. So that's why I wanted to let everybody know that we're watching, and we're doing this to, keep as much low impact to our community and taxes, but unfortunately, we don't have a magic tree out back here that we can draw and pull $1,000 bills off of what we would need today. So anyway, all right, I will now go on to this presentation, discussion, the public hearing, consideration of ordinance number 1562. Matt.
Mayor and council members, really the same thing I said last time. We presented all the information to you back in November and again at our last meeting with the draft ordinance. We're available for any specific questions about the public safety personnel retirement system. But if there's no questions, the next step is the public hearing.
Any questions from the council? Okay, I will now open the public hearing. Is there a 5-minute time limit with a 1-minute warning that you will hear? Please state your name and address for the record. And boy, I see a lot of movement here, right? I will now close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mayor,
Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1562 be read by title only and the reading of the entire ordinance be waived.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes. Ordinance number 1562, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Apache Junction, Arizona, relating to the transaction privilege license tax, commonly known as the sales tax, amending the tax code of the city of Apache Junction by continuing the rate of taxation by 0.2%, as originally adopted by ordinance number 1129 and continued by ordinance number 1359 and ordinance number 1418. Designating the purpose for mandatory payments to the public safety personnel retirement system and unfunded liability related to the same, designating an effective date, designating a termination date, commonly known as the sunset clause, providing for existing contracts, providing for penalties, repealing any conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for notice.
Do I have a motion for ordinance 1562?
I move that ordinance number 1562, as read by the city clerk, be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Hack,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. New business, presentation discussion on awards contract to Empire Power Systems. Shane.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Shane Kiesel, your Public Works Manager. So thank you. I'm happy to be in front of you tonight, talk about the City Hall generator installation plans the city staff has. This is the opportunity for council to get to know what those plans are. Our intent is to bring this back to your consideration. Shane, he's our Public Works streets guy. Why is he talking about the generator? Well, I am part of the city's sort of emergency response. Everybody knows Public Works does have emergency response role with the city. So I help Matt oftentimes a lot. Matt is the director of our Office of Emergency Management, so part of his team. We have been looking for and contemplating a lot of different generator solutions for City Hall for the last 10 years. We have an opportunity with some funding that we'll quickly talk about to get this project done, over with. And part of me too thinks that Matt definitely wants me to lead this project to the finish line, because I've told him some of the horror stories that I've had with working with the former city that went through a regional disaster, and backup power was huge. For about 2 years, I lived with 2 alarm clocks, one that's powered off the electricity and one was off of a battery, because we had power going off all the time as the city restructured its electrical grid after the flooding disaster and related fire that resulted in the flooding up in North Dakota back in the late 90s. So that's the city I worked for. That's why I have the experience, and I think Matt thinks that I could talk very well about the subject. So moving on here, here's what the generator, so as I mentioned, backup power. So when our utility power provided through SRP goes out, this generator will kick on, so we don't lose our network systems, our backup electricity that we become very dependent on with our electrical, server systems, a lot of information that we have out in the cloud. For example, so this generator would be a diesel generator. It would be a 400 kW building generator located over by the municipal court. And in a minute, I'll show you here a diagram of the specific location and what to expect when we move into the construction stage. We have finished a design on this. Design was paid out of the American Rescue Plan Act, so ARPA is the acronym that many of you probably have heard. So we have started paying this project out of that. Also, we, as the city, as I understand, Matt Bryant and Finance have shared with me, ARPA, we had to conclude using it by the end of 2024, but what we have done is use that remaining ARPA monies that we've had for something else that we were going to be paying general fund out to make room for that general fund to finish this project. So again, that's the opportunity that I'm talking about after 10 years of trying to find room in a budget, find a solution to get a generator here at this facility. That is the prime opportunity that is before us. So we'll talk about some additional needs, benefits of the generator, and again, talk about the generator location and what to expect with construction. So what is the added value? Definitely continuity of business operations. Everybody knows when it storms around here, oftentimes our electricity goes out here or there. So the backup generator will come on in a matter of seconds. Most staff in City Hall won't even notice unless they see the lights flicker when the generator kicks on, when the electrical power goes out. And again, continuity of operations is very important for the city's critical services that we do provide. And also our dependence as we move into the future, our dependence with everything being more online, more digital, more paperless. Also, second, hazard mitigation measure. So City Hall serves as a critical network hub. We have a lot of new fiber optic coming into this building, so it still serves as a hub. And it serves as a hub feeding Public Works and Animal Control. So Public Works has a backup generator that oftentimes is used when we respond to flooding events. When the power is out, we are operating. We are part of that recovery team, response and recovery team. However, when City Hall loses their lights, we lose all of our network, all of our maps, all of our GIS, and even our landline phones. So this project is critical too for Public Works as we move forward here in the future. And that third bullet point, and I think is the most important, space. Currently, our designated emergency operations center is at our police department, and many of you know police department is pretty small. Right now, that EOC would be, is actually part of their dispatch area that they currently use now. It can maybe handle max of 15 people. That just is not enough space if we have emergency operations activation as we move forward in the future. And as we grow, we just need more space. So this generator would make available all the conference rooms in this facility, meaning all these different buildings would be backed up by this generator, including HVAC systems, everything. And we'll talk about that a little bit here when we look at the site location. Also, that frees up some incident command space. Chief has said many times too, is they don't have a lot of space when it comes to incident command center. So during an emergency event, that EOC at the police department may be better served and more than likely would be better served as an incident command versus EOC. So this building these facilities over here would give some flexibility if that is as the case. That incident command will turn into a unified command, so it's talking about other police response, other fire response staff other than just the city, if it is more than just a citywide event, which we're talking about those big emergency, which would be more than just a citywide event. Also adds that Joint Information Center, PIO space. Public communication is very important during an emergency. So that just our current EOC cannot facilitate a PIO, Joint Information Center in that space. So this space over here, this room, for example, would be a great public information office space during the event. And then also a policy group. You folks, you're part of our elected officials policy group. You, during a city emergency, could be working with city attorney's office for any type of declarations. You guys would need to get together to discuss next courses of action when it comes to our response, also cover and recovery. So this space would add space for you folks together to do your function when it comes to emergency response. Also cooling. I think about 10 years ago, SRP had a transformer fire in Mesa, and the city was out. I think it was almost up to a week. And we were so lucky it was during the fall or winter months and not in the summertime. So that wasn't really even a natural event. That just happened, some freak thing happened to a transformer that I think they had to transport it all the way from California, and it took a week before they could get it down the road to us and installed in Mesa. So, so that's, you know, in recent memory of, you know, what would we do now without electricity for a whole week? We would be very hard to keep those levels of service with the city going if we did not have power. Any questions at this point before I sort of move into what the construction part?
I'll save my question.
All right, sir.
I want to see where and how and what.
Yes, so getting to where right here. See if my pointer can see, my little white pointer. So here's the municipal court right to the southwest of us. So when the court was constructed, there was actually a corral that was actually made for a generator. So many of you may not even know that. It just looks like part of the existing building. So this area was actually made for a future generator. So that's what our design plans was, at some point put a generator at this location. And why at this location? Because this is our main electric service entry here in the court. So we're trying to put this generator as far upstream as we can to where the power comes in. So if we lose power from SRP, that generator switches over and be able to feed all the buildings north and east of there, you know, downstream from the generator. You can't miss the green outline. So when the construction time does come, that's going to be the laydown yard or construction equipment, you know, staging area for the construction. You can see we've made all efforts to keep the Sally Point port entry open for those escorted to the municipal court for hearings. We are currently in the dialogue with the court, so there will be some impacts with that. So we are going to be very sensitive as, you know, when we move forward to their operations. Also some impacts to parking too that we definitely will be looking at, make sure we have enough parking for the court, but then also for our functions around here with City Hall. So we'll move on here, just a close-up of that area. What we've had to do is that current space is going to have to be moved a bit because we have gone through, and all of you know that we've put a lot of effort in with our master planning, with our buildings here in the last year and a half or so. So the court does have plans, or at least started to be conceptualized with expanding to the west side of their building. So this space right here would be the current space that we have, but we got to pull this space further south to be able to keep this corridor open, which the court needs for expansion. That's the main staff hallway in the back behind the courtrooms and the offices. So that was a bit of a variable that we had to play with, that we had to include into the design of moving that space forward. So essentially the scope of the project will be a degree of demolition for about a week and a half to 2 weeks to demolish the existing corral walls and foundations, also adding in a more of a reinforced slab for the generator. And then as you could see here, here's the power lines that go into the existing electric service entry into the court building. You can see we're going to be doing a cut-in at this location, looping it through an automatic transfer switch that automatically senses powers off, switches at the generator, back feeds power back into the system to our buildings downstream from this point. And then we're installing this double door. As I mentioned, it's a diesel generator. It will last probably up to about 2 days with fuel, depending on load. So we definitely have to have access to fuel the generator. Some people have asked, why don't you go with natural gas? Because they have natural gas generators. We're depending on a third-party utility. We don't know when they're going to be turning off valves downstream because of some part of the same disaster, why the generator is kicking on. They might be turning the gas off on us. We have our own fuel yard, fuel tanks at Public Works, so we would have the ability to fuel our own generators, much like we do with Public Works and the Police Department. Those are all diesel generators.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I ask my question now?
Okay.
So regarding the annual maintenance on the generator itself, will we be performing that in-house, or will we have to hire that out to Caterpillar or whomever the vendor is going to be that we get it from?
Yes, good question. There is maintenance. This equipment is only as good as the maintenance. We've had generators that were called upon to run and, well, battery shot. Nobody checked the battery. But fortunately, since those days, we have a contractor that serves all of our generators. So they do a load test on them, I think quarterly, don't hold me to that, but oftentimes routinely on the generators, which includes a load test. We exercise the generators, so all of them can be programmed to exercise once a week to keep those batteries conditioned, so when it's called upon, they for sure will fire. We've even looked and might have in place some of these generators networked in. So if something comes up with a trouble, it actually gives us a heads up there's a problem before that problem is actually realized or happens. So I could see that at some phase future down the road, getting it networked in, so we'll have that trouble alarm notification if we have issues with the generator.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Shane, question on it operates on fuel. How long will it, when it's filled to its capacity, how many hours will that generator run before it has to be refilled?
Yeah, so we've tried to size the generator somewhat consistently sized with the fuel tank, and I can't remember now if it's 300 or 400 some gallons, but we usually get about a day to 2 days running time, just depending on the load. Most generators, of course, are far from the load, unless it's 115, all the air conditioners are on. The generator still has some capacity load yet, so usually, around those 2 days. Usually with the police department, part of our protocol is You know, Public Works gets notified the generator goes on. Our first thing is, well, we start the clock. So we know how long it's running, so we have a note to follow up, check on the fuel, if it's still running by whatever time. And then part of the annual maintenance too, they do check the fuel, add additives to it, fuel too, if, you know, keep the fuel fresh.
So, question, you just mentioned something. So, like with the cooling, if power went off, is the generator designed to cool every building everywhere, or is it select locations where you would, if you had to, you could direct staff to those locations?
This generator is going to be at its uppermost stream of our power, so it is sized to actually run everything. HVAC, lights, everything. All staff, if you're using this building, you won't know if the generator's on versus what the utility power is going to be. The only thing you might have an indication is the lights might go out for a few seconds as the generator switches over. A lot of our electrical systems too have some backup battery power, so I think some of the computers within City Hall won't even blink, so you shouldn't be even losing things on your computer.
Good, good. Over here.
All right, just getting towards the end here, construction schedule, mobilization. So as I mentioned, I hope to bring this for consideration in your consent agenda in your February, I think it's the 4th meeting. So our mobilization contractor will look to start building that construction fence, bringing in some of the construction equipment. End of February with the start of demolition in March. So you can see that demolition, that's probably going to be the noisiest, most impactful part of the process as we take out the current slab that's existing there and footers for the existing walls. Enclosure construction, you can see March through May, so about a month and a half or almost about 2 months for the total construction. Our intent is to take that enclosure down as we wait for the generator equipment to come in. That is a long lead time. So that's why we're anxious to get an award. Contractor could make that orders, get that equipment in. We could get everything ready, let that slab cure, which is going to be important before we put the heavy generator with fuel on it. And so that generator equipment is slated to come in maybe starting in June, possibly as late as November. So we're really hoping by the end of November to have final completion, setting that generator in, doing that cross connect. And that cross connect would be scheduled on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday possibly, because we're going to have to be taking all the buildings down, going dark for a couple days to make that crossover to the generator system. All right, any questions on that or anything else I could help clarify?
No more questions? Okay, well, thank you, Shane.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay. Since we don't have any more, we've now come to a call to the public. I'd like to remind everyone that the call to the public is a courtesy and not required by law. It's a time for the public to express requests, communications, comments, and suggestions. Requests to speak forms must have been completed and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Underneath the open meeting law, council cannot engage in a discussion on issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly or place the matter on a future agenda for a council's discussion. There is a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And Mo, you want to start it off?
Good evening. Mahmood Muhyiddin, 2304 North Cortez Road, Apache Junction, Arizona. Your Honor, can I approach? I need to have paperwork to, want you to look at it and discuss about this one.
Go ahead and give it to us. we're all awake.
Awake.
Just checking.
Okay.
These are the few bills that we receive from the Republic Service and for our garbage. And city did, and council did a hell of a great job for benefiting the public, but it was not include any businesses. We started the business back in 2017 with the Republic Service. Originally, it was a contract for $350 twice pickup. Then they include $9 per dumpster to refreshing it. For the last 7, 8 years, never done it once. And when the containers go bad, oh, we have to charge you extra $100 to pick up and refresh it. Always in contract. Okay. Then they start charging us overweight. And I requested that you guys have a weight limit. What's the maximum weight? They don't. How you guys measure it, that was weight was overweight. Oh, we don't have any scale. So why are you guys charging us? Or the lid is not completely closed, we automatically charge that amount. They are breaching a contract. When I asked them, now I'm looking for a new company, the new company don't want to come over here because they don't have enough business. They give a lot higher pricing. Finally, I found the company, negotiated with them for the next 5 years to 10 years contract. They give me a great rate. And I asked the Republic if they can match it. They refused it. I said, all right, then I have no choice to pick up and use a different company. Now they're telling me I'm in a breach of contract. They're going to charge me $3,500 to cancel the contract. And my request to council, if we're going to keep that one, maybe you guys can look into contract, maybe renegotiate, or maybe add the business owners. They are the ones generate a lot of money and tax dollars and paying the taxes, but not getting any benefits from those people. And if you guys can look into it or help us out, we'll greatly appreciate it. Or maybe have somebody from our council or the city official contact them. Maybe we can solve this problem, but right now, I've been dealing with them since second week of December. And the major problem is they have no idea who the manager is. Sometime I talk in Long Island in New York. Next time I'm talking in Long Beach, California. Today I got a phone call, lady's name is Tori from Tucson. But don't know what the left hand, the right hand doing. If you guys can help out or do anything, we'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Carr. She's still outside?
Mhm.
She left.
She left the chief.
Okay. Okay,
They were right outside the doors.
all right.
Is she right outside?
Any comments from the council?
Yeah. Can we look into Mo's issue and see if there's something we can do regarding, the commercial services? I know we don't, oversee them, but at the same time, like he said, they help fund our city.
Your Honor, I'll just clarify for everyone. State law is very clear about what cities can do about commercial, and I could get Joel to help me out with this. We could provide you the state law that says that cities are preempted from being involved in or producing or providing services for commercial businesses in the state of Arizona. However, we certainly can get the right folks from a Republic to make conversation to find out exactly what's going on in this specific case. Sounds like there's some contractual things that they have with the vendor here.
That would be good, thank you.
City Manager, I have a concern. If they're charging for weight and they don't weigh things, a lid up doesn't mean that you could have cardboard boxes in there that could weigh nothing. So is there a way we can look into that? Or have somebody look?
We'll look into that.
Thank you.
Do you want to try and call Donna again? Donna came back in.
Oh, she's back.
Yep.
Yes or no?
All right. Donna Carr.
Donna Carr, Apache Junction resident. I was just gonna say, as I was here a little early and caught part of your meeting on water and all that, and how many homes you could save in case there was a fire, I think one of the things is to stop allowing people to shoot off all these fireworks. That would probably help one problem. And I think Los Angeles had a lot of problems because besides not having the water pressure and all that, but they built on top of one another. And I know these guys are so into trying to do that to AJ, and I am so opposed. People need a little bit of elbow room. And you keep stuffing people into a sardine can, and then you just end up with people getting irritated with their neighbors. So that's all I have to say tonight. Thanks.
Okay. Any other comments? I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.